So our first article, SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Shanghai Cooperation Organization, see, as usual, manaki IR lone, specifically for prelims, there is high probability of asking some bodies whether asking India is a member or not, or else giving some members and identifying odd one out. Who are the members, who are not the members. For example, in 2023 prelims, they had asked a question about G20, because G20 is heavily in news at that time. G20 summit, India participation, everything was heavily in news. Similarly, now SCO is heavily in news. We all know that our own Jaishankar went to Pakistan for heads of the SCO meeting. In place of Honorable Prime Minister, Jaishankar had went. And yesterday meeting had happened and cordially they had invited us. We had discussions both during the session and after the session also. Okay. Now, the major thing you need to know about SCO is that it is a 10-member organization. Only organization in Asia which has both India and Pakistan, China and Russia. Now, ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఈ మెంబర్స్ మనకు తెలియాలి. ఓకే, షాంఘై కోఆపరేషన్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్. బిఫోర్ మనకి ఇది బాగా గుర్తుండడానికి ఇందులో మెంబర్స్ మీకు అర్థం చేసుకోవాల్సిన విషయం ఏంటి అంటే, దిస్ ఈస్ బేస్డ్ ఓన్లీ ఇన్ ఏషియా. ఓన్లీ ఏషియన్ కంట్రీస్ విల్ బి దేర్. అండ్ initially it used to be called as Shanghai plus 5. So this Central Asian republics are part of this. Central Asian republics part of this అని గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. దాంతో మనం డెడ్యూస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు 10 కంట్రీస్ ఏంటి అని. స్టార్టింగ్ సి ఇండియా అండ్ పాకిస్తాన్ ఇస్ దేర్. మన జయశంకర్ పాకిస్తాన్కి వెళ్ళాడు కాబట్టి ఇండియా పాకిస్తాన్ ఇద్దరు ఉన్నారని తెలుస్తుంది కదా. సో ఇండియా అండ్ పాకిస్తాన్ ఆర్ దేర్. నెక్స్ట్ చైనా అండ్ రష్యా ఆర్ దేర్. Now, what I told earlier, Central Asian republics are part of this. Out of 5 Central Asian republics, only 4 are part of this. If we are pronouncing cut in a very broad manner, we can call it as cut. Central Asian republics lo 4 countries enti: Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan. So here Turkmenistan is not part of this. Okay, and along with this, last year Iran became member of SCO. This year Belarus became member of SCO. Okay, SCO is relatively a security organization. Anduku IB అంటే ఏంటి ఇండియాలో? ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ బ్యూరో. సో సెక్యూరిటీ రిలేటెడ్ ఆస్పెక్ట్ కాబట్టి అట్లా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. India and Pakistan are obviously there. Similarly, China and Russia are there. Central Asian republics are there. Cut Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan. Since it is a security organization, IB, Iran and Belarus. New member is Belarus this year and Iran last year. Total 10 members. So, some countries quote this as Asian NATO. But India is not at all accepting the narrative that SCO as an Asian NATO. What is NATO? Basis for its formation? Why NATO has been formed? For collective defense and security of North Atlantic countries, specifically European and North Atlantic countries kada, North American countries. Which countries are bordering this North Atlantic Ocean, those will be part of this NATO. And this is a collective defense organization. Western countries look at SCO as Asian NATO. And even our China and Russia also wants to see like that as a security organization. But India opposes this narrative. In our main answers, we shouldn't write it as an Asian NATO, and you can directly quote that India opposes this narrative of Asian NATO, because naming itself as an Asian NATO, what happens? It aggresses Western countries. We are maintaining multi-alignment. We want relations both with China and USA. We don't want to become aggressor with any other country. Okay, as part of our strategic alignment and non-alignment and multi-alignment policies, we will be maintaining relations with both the wings. That's why we do not want to quote it as Asian NATO. అర్థమైంది కదా. And this SCO is having 10 members. Economic discussions will be happening, military discussions will be happening, technical discussions will be happening. And one more thing, one major thing which is part of SCO is RATS. What is this RATS? I told this earlier also. Regional Anti-Terrorism Squad. Okay. Now this SCO provides us opportunity to control the rise of extremism, terrorism in Asian region. Okay. What is its name? Regional Anti-Terrorism Squad. Directly they can ask a question, RATS belongs to which of the organization? RATS as a mechanism is available only in SCO. RATS as a mechanism to safeguard security and to reduce terrorism in Asian countries, it is available only with SCO. What is contingency reserve arrangement? In which organization it is part? CRA. Contingency reserve arrangement. Heard about BRICS Bank, New Development Bank. IMF, what is the major work of IMF? To handle balance of payment crisis and macroeconomic scenario across the world. Similarly, if any countries which are part of BRICS are facing balance of payment crisis, similar to IMF, this contingency reserve arrangement within BRICS will be giving balance of payment support. Okay, means it will be giving forex reserves whenever needed. అర్థమైందా కంటింజెన్సీ రిజర్వ్ అరేంజ్మెంట్ అంటే ఏంటో? సో దిస్ కంటింజెన్సీ రిజర్వ్ అరేంజ్మెంట్ విల్ హెల్ప్ ఇన్ surpassing this balance of payment crisis problem among the BRICS member nations. Now this contingency reserve arrangement is part of which organization? BRICS. Similarly, this RATS mechanism is part of which organization? SCO. Okay. More than this, for SCO you need not know any other things. For mains, if you write 1 or 2 answers on this, it will be more than sufficient. See, Omar takes oath as new Jammu and Kashmir CM. See, after many years, elections had happened in J&K. Now, J&K is an UT or state? UT, Union Territory. After the reorganization of J&K in 2019, J&K reorganization ayi, this Article 370 abrogate chesaru kada. See, before Article 370, before this 2019 J&K Reorganization Act, there used to be a complete different scenario. We used to have Article 370 in our constitution. We have provisions Article 370 and Article 371. We have provisions Article 370 and Article 371. You might not know them. See, this Article 370, 371, these will be providing special provisions to some specific states. Special provisions means which some of those provisions which are not available to all the states. This 370 will be providing specific provisions, special provisions to J&K. This 371 will be providing some special powers to some other states like Nagaland, Assam, Manipur, even Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Karnataka. Okay, there used to be articles 371A to 371G, 371A, 371B, 371B, 371C, 371D, like that. 371A stands for Nagaland, 371B stands for Assam, 371C stands for Maharashtra, 371D stands for Andhra Pradesh. Similarly, మీకు క్లాసెస్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు గుర్తుంటుంది, మళ్ళీ నేను చెప్తాను. ఈ 7 ఆర్టికల్స్ నమస్మా అని శివుడిని గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటూ గుర్తొస్తుంది. నా అయితే ఆల్ దీస్ ఆర్ స్పెషల్ ప్రొవిజన్స్ టు సపోర్ట్ సమ్ స్టేట్స్. లైక్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, there are some certain conditions with respect to different states which require some special powers to them. For example, take the case of Nagaland. Nagaland is relatively more tribal oriented state. There is more value for their customs and traditions. This Article 371A provides significance to their customs. It gives sanctity to their customs because not all other states are having the same provisions. Similarly, take the case of Manipur. In Manipur also, there is some sort of internal security challenges. There is pressure to give more power to them, decentralization of power. That's why using this 371 article, we had given special powers to the states. Now, the problem here is that for 370, with 370, we had given similar extra powers to J&K. But As per 370, J&K is having separate constitution, separate flag. So J&K, after this, during our 1947 struggle and integration of princely states and all, by an agreement called Instrument of Accession between this J&K Raja and Government of India, J&K became part of India. But at that time, to appease them or for any other reason, we had added this Article 370 to make J&K part of India. Okay, through an agreement called Instrument of Accession. Now, until 2019 also, J&K is part of India, but not completely, because it is having separate flag, separate constitution, different rules. They used to have Indian president and Indian government used to have less power compared to other states in the case of J&K. Now, after abrogation of Article 370, now this Article 370 is not there. Abrogation of this Article 370, J&K had become complete part of India. Now, earlier J&K has been divided into two UTs, J&K and Ladakh. Two UTs, J&K and Ladakh has been formed. Now, J&K is an UT with legislature. Ladakh became a UT without legislature. Means here there won't be any MLAs. Here there will be MLAs. Similarly, for example, take the case of Delhi. Delhi is an union territory with legislature. Pondicherry with legislature. Pondicherry also having legislature. Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli do not have legislatures. Okay? So, likewise, for every union territory, there are different things. You will be learning in polity when the case comes. Now, the thing is that after many years, using this J&K Reorganization Act, J&K became complete part of India, and now elections had happened. Omar Abdullah became first Chief Minister of J&K. Now, significantly for our exam, you might be required all these things, and along with this, geography of J&K might become important. Means what are the rivers flowing, what are the peaks over there, all those things. Once have a look over that. Physical geography of J&K. And one more thing, you will be learning in polity how all these reorganization is happening. Until 2019, J&K is a state. It became UT. See, J&K is having some different provisions. J&K formation is completely different with all other states. Now take the case of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Until that 2014, Andhra and Telangana are united. After 2014, we have been divided. How this had happened? Yeah. So in our constitution, there is a provision under Article 2, 3 and 4. Article 2, 3 and 4 for reorganization of states. There is, for reorganization of states, in the Article 4 itself, it was mentioned that there is no requirement of any constitutional amendment. Means, for example, for giving 33% reservation to women, we had made 106th constitutional amendment. మీకు ఇంకా పాలిటీ అవ్వలేదు కాబట్టి మీకు రిలేటివ్గా కొంచెం ఇది డిఫరెన్స్గా అనిపించవచ్చు. బట్ సి, Constitutional Amendment Act. Constitutional Amendment Act brings significant modifications to the provisions in the Indian Constitution. By Article 106, by this Constitutional Amendment Act 106, what we had done? We had brought reservations to women in this Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. Now, these are some significant provisions. So, that's why we require Constitutional Amendment. Similarly, in the modification of states also, we require Constitutional Amendment Act. But in the Article 4 itself, it was mentioned that for modification or reorganization of any states in the country, there is no requirement of any sort of constitutional amendment. Parliament of India can make any reorganizations as a normal legislation, as an ordinary bill itself. So, any sort of change in the modification of area, name, formation, combining two states, dividing two states, or else forming union territories, separating two things, combining 3 or 4 states, everything can be done by Parliament of India without the requirement of any Constitution of India. Okay? Directly it was mentioned in Article 4. Means at present, if Parliament of India wants to divide Andhra Pradesh into 25 states, it can do. There is no requirement of any constitutional amendment. Just it need to pass a normal legislation, normal law in Parliament. Okay, and it must be done as per the provisions mentioned in Article 3. ఇండియా లోపల ఆల్రెడీ ఉండే స్టేట్స్లోని ఎటువంటి మోడిఫికేషన్స్ తీసుకొని రావాలన్నా ఇట్ షుడ్ బి డన్ యాజ్ పర్ ఆర్టికల్ 3. ఇఫ్ వీఆర్ మేకింగ్ అవుటర్ ఎనీ టెరిటరీ విచ్ ఆర్ నాట్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా అప్ టు నౌ, adding them or giving our territory to any other countries, so modification of any these sort of things would be done as per Article 2. So already the territories which are part of India, any modifications in them would be done as per Article 3. Things which are not part of India, modifications in them would be done as part of Article 2. And Constitution itself says as per Article 4, these cannot be called as Constitutional Amendment Acts under Article 368. Constitutional Amendment Act ఎలా చేయాలి అనేది ప్రొవిజన్స్ని ఆర్టికల్ 368లో మెన్షన్ చేసి ఉంటారు. ఓకే, ఆర్టికల్ 368లోని కాన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ అమెండ్మెంట్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఎలా చేయాలని మెన్షన్ చేసి ఉంటారు. సో ఆర్టికల్ 368లో అనుగుణంగా మనం చేస్తేనే we call it as Constitutional Amendment Act. In this Article 4 itself, it was mentioned that any sort of changes to Indian territory or Indian nations, states, names of any states is not subjected to Article 368. Advainda? Then you will be learning about these things in polity. You will get some more clarity. See, you all know this Canada-India relations had went to one of the lowest due to these utterances from Justin Trudeau or else from Indian side also. So the issue is forming, let it form. We will take this matter 2 or 3 days after. Let the things happening. But in today's news, there is one more thing called Five Eyes Intelligence. There is a network called Five Eyes. Five Eyes is a group of 5 countries: Canada, USA, UK, Australia, New Zealand. Five Eyes is a grouping of these 5 countries. Now, this Five Eyes is an organization related to intelligence sharing. These countries share among themselves intelligence details and communication details, helping one among themselves in security matters. Okay, 5 organizations. Now, what happened? Earlier, Australia had supported Canada in this India-Canada issue. Similarly, USA had supported yesterday. In fact, USA told India yesterday that maintain good relations with Canada. Of course, we didn't accept it. Now, even UK, yesterday, UK is the last country, remaining all the 4 members also supporting Canada in this issue. Okay? Even there is a apprehension that it's only an allegation that Canada got to know about this. All this issue started because Justin Trudeau says that India was involved in killing of Niger, that pro-Khalistani person. They says that they got information about India being part of killing of Niger through this Five Eyes intelligence. Okay? Five Eyes intelligence ద్వారా వాళ్ళకి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ వచ్చింది అనేది ఒక అలిగేషన్. ఇంకా దానికి ఇక్కడ మెటీరియల్ ప్రూఫ్ అనేది ఏం లేదు. బట్ వీ నీడ్ టు నో అబౌట్ Five Eyes. In exam, they can ask whether India is part of Five Eyes or not. Okay? And all these are 5 democracies. The battle cry for justice in the city of Jai, editorial page. Obviously, that article is of not significance for us, but this article says about the security scenario in West Bengal. West Bengal, which we call as city of joy. Now, because of the rape issue since last 2 months, it is completely with aggressions, protests and all. Okay, ఈ ఆర్టికల్ అయితే పెద్ద సిగ్నిఫికెన్స్ ఏం లేదు. అండ్ దిస్ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్, స్పాట్లైటింగ్ ద వర్క్ ఆఫ్ ద ఎకనామిక్స్ నోబెల్ విన్నర్స్. ఈవెన్ yesterday also I told you, many of you are not there. See, this is Nobel week. Means in this last 1 month you might have seen Nobel have been awarded for this chemistry, biology, physics, English and economics. Now, already I told yesterday, already many Indians got Nobels. Earlier, Abject Banerjee had got, Amartya Sen had got Nobel Prize for Economics. Similarly, this year, Nobel Prize in Economics went to 3 persons who had written a book called Why Nations Fail. In this book, and also in their other writings also, these 3 authors, one of them is major person here is Robinson, James Robinson. This is the relation between institutions and prosperity. Institution అంటే ఇప్పుడు for example, consider Vishnu AS as an institute. If it is working good or if it is working with ethics, students will get benefit. Institution will get admissions. Both will be win-win situation. Now, take this case aside. They talk about institutions of government orientation. Okay. For example, why nations fail. Pakistan as a nation failed because there are weak institutions in Pakistan. Their parliament is very weak. Military is strong. Since their institutions fail, there is no prosperity in the nation. On this research aspect, which relates institutions and prosperity, they got this Nobel Prize. Okay. Success of any country is based on institutions. Okay. Names of them are AJR, Darren Acemoglu, Simon Johnson and James Robinson. See, in ఇది మీరు మనకి ఎగ్జామ్లో అట్లా యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు అంటే డైరెక్ట్లీ ఇఫ్ ఎ క్వశ్చన్ కమ్స్ అబౌట్ నోబెల్ ప్రైజ్ ఎకనామిక్స్ ఆబ్వియస్లీ విల్ బి రైటింగ్ దిస్ అండ్ అదర్ థింగ్ మెయిన్స్లో అయితే రావడానికి సిగ్నిఫికెన్స్ లేదు బట్ ఇన్ మెనీ ఆన్సర్స్ యూ కెన్ కోట్ దిస్ హౌ దిస్ వై నేషన్స్ ఫెయిల్ దే ఆర్ కోటింగ్ అబౌట్ ద సిగ్నిఫికెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ నౌ మనకి ఎగ్జామ్లోని మెయిన్స్లోని ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్ గురించి కానీ కాక్ గురించి కానీ కాన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ బాడీస్ గురించి నాన్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ బాడీస్ గురించి క్వశ్చన్ వస్తుంది కదా పక్కగా దేర్ వీ కెన్ కోట్ దిస్ decay on the institutions will lead to failure of the nations. If election commission is not working good, if it is not working as an independent body, it becomes problematic to a country. Ante kada. So you can quote this James Robinson book, Why Nations Fail. Even in your essays also we can quote this importance of integrity in the institutions. Okay. Similarly, this India's 2024 Global Hunger Index ranking is a matter of concern. In 2024 ranking, India got 105th place out of 127 countries. Okay, Global Hunger Index. Now, obviously, as a nation, we feel sorrow for this. But consider, is it really we are in that harsh scenario? No. Because obviously there will be difference in survey patterns. India from the beginning itself doesn't accept these indicators. This is based on 4 indicators: child wasting, stunting, undernourishment. Okay. Now the problem is that compared to other countries, we are in a very much better position. But because of our population, they might consider us as one of the global hunger index in this as 105th position in global hunger index. Either leaving all these aside, we have hunger problem that we must accept, because already as yesterday I told you, we are facing the problem of paradox of plenty. On one side, FCI godowns are filled with food grains. There is overflow of food grains, rice, wheat. On the other side, there are many people can't even eat 2 times a day. They are starving. Millions of people are dying of hunger. There is paradox of plenty. By this, we can say that there is hunger problem in the country. Okay. For this, we are implementing National Food Security Act, PDS system, public distribution system, and all. Okay. Center increases MSP for wheat, 5 other rabi crops. This is very important. What is MSP? MSP గురించి అయిందా మీ క్లాస్లో? Tell me 5 important details about MSP. See, inevitably, you will be getting a question in MSP, on MSP, either in prelims or in mains or both the things. Tell me some important details you know about MSP. అవునా, గవర్నమెంట్ మొత్తం కొనేస్తుందా? ఓన్లీ ఫర్ రైస్ అండ్ వీట్. ఓన్లీ ఫర్ రైస్ అండ్ వీట్. See, now MSP అంటే minimum support price, means guaranteed price which a farmer will be getting from the government for their produce. For how many crops it will be giving? 22 plus 2. Okay, 22 plus 2 crops. Who will be recommending this? Very important. ఇప్పటికి 2 సార్లు అడిగారు ప్రిలిమ్స్లో. Who will be recommending the MSP values? Have you heard about CACP? What is that? Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices. It will be deciding the values of MSP for every crop before the sowing season. ఖరీఫ్ సీజన్ ముందు ఖరీఫ్ క్రాప్స్కి, రబీ సీజన్ ముందు ఖరీఫ్ క్రాప్స్కి. ఈ 22 క్రాప్స్లోని 14 ఖరీఫ్ క్రాప్స్ ఉంటాయి, 6 రబీ క్రాప్స్ ఉంటాయి, 2 క్రాప్స్ ప్రైజెస్ దాని మీద డిసైడ్ అయి ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, నౌ అరౌండ్ 22 plus 2 crops are there in this MSP. CACP will be recommending the values of MSP. CACP means Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices. Who will be finalizing the MSP values? FCA is not at all in the domain of this MSP. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. CACP will be recommending. It will give suggestions to Cabinet. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs will be deciding the values of MSP. ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఈవెన్ ఇక్కడ కూడా చూడండి, ఫస్ట్ లైన్లో ఏం రాస్తుంది? ద క్యాబినెట్ కమిటీ ఆన్ ఎకనామిక్ అఫైర్స్ ఆన్ వెడ్నెస్డే ఇంక్రీజ్డ్ ద ఎంఎస్పీ ఫర్ రబీ క్రాప్స్ ఫర్ ద నెక్స్ట్ మార్కెట్ సీజన్. ఓకే, సో హూ విల్ బి హ్యావింగ్ ద ఫైనల్ సై ఇన్ డిసైడింగ్ ద వాల్యూస్ ఆఫ్ ఎంఎస్పీ? క్యాబినెట్ కమిటీ ఆన్ ఎకనామిక్ అఫైర్స్, నాట్ ద హోల్ క్యాబినెట్. Now, what are these cabinet committees? See, earlier I told you about parliamentary committees. Since all the 545 members cannot discuss on an issue, we had formed different committees. For example, parliamentary committee on office of profit, women empowerment and all. Some 15 to 20 members will be gathering and discussing on an issue. Similarly, since all the 75 members of the union, this council of ministers cannot discuss on all the topics, that's why we have division of labor kanda we had divided the works. We formed this 8 cabinet committees. Among them, one of the major committees, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. It will be deciding our MSP values. Okay, now in this MSP we are having C2 plus FL, AL, విన్నారు కదా. MS Swaminathan committee has recommended 1.5 times the value of C2 plus FL. Government of India didn't accept up to now. NPPA increases ceiling prices of 8 scheduled drugs. Earlier I told you about National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. This is under Ministry of Chemicals. Remember, this is not under Ministry of Health, it is under Ministry of Chemicals. This decides the prices of pharmaceuticals, drugs. Means, for example, మనం తీసుకునే పారాసెటమాల్ అవనియండి, సిట్రిజిన్ అవనియండి, this NPPA will decide the prices. Okay.